What is up, good people? Thank you for checking me out here at The Real Counselor's Corner. As always, you can follow me on all social platforms. That's Instagram, that's Twitter, that's Facebook, and that's YouTube under the handle at The Real Counselor's Corner. If you don't have one of these, man, in your repertoire, is that what they say, in your attire, you need to get yourself one. Send me your information. I'll send you mine. We can talk about how you can get one at The Real Counselor's Corner. Real talk, I've sold about 70, I think last count 72 of these shirts. And that makes me feel amazing. That means there are 72 people in this world that have thought enough of what I believe in to purchase something that they wear. Now, that's just a part of it. But even more importantly, I have 72 people in this world that are wearing a brand that's going to allow other people to see it, and hopefully them knowing what the handle is going to lead them back to where you're at now at The Real Counselor's Corner. But I'm here today for another edition of Welcome to My Library. So the thing about my library, it contains more than books. I have hip hop figurines, I have records, I have magazines, so on and so forth. So as I go throughout my library, you know, it's going to be different things. So today I'm welcoming you to my, I don't want to call it a magazine collection because I didn't set out to collect these. These are just magazines that I've had that I actually purchased and just held on to, and I got rid of a ton of them. But you know, this is what I have in my library. So I'm just going to kind of go through the stack and just talk about just the time when, you know, hip hop in print was the big thing before the digital era. So we're going to talk about that and go through my library. So we just going to have a little conversation. I'm going to take you back to, I know if you're around my age, you remember this time that I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to get to these first just because they're on the top. So this one here, if you notice, is vacuum sealed. All right, I'm going to let you, can you see the date? I don't know if you can see the date. So if you can't see the date, I'll read it for you. November 1996. All right, so I was a senior in high school when this came out. All right. And no, I wasn't. Was I? Let me think. No, I had just graduated. I had just graduated high school. So I had just graduated high school that May or June or whatnot. And I actually remember where I was when Tupac was killed or died or whatnot. I was at a football game, Henderson County. I remember exactly where I was. So this is vacuum sealed because, you know, Tupac still is one of my favorite hip hop artists. And if you're a hip hop head like me, and you grew up during this era, then you know how important this time was to hip hop music. So definitely shout out to my pops, man, for vacuum sealing this for me. Moving right along. Man, once again, original copy, May 1997. You can see that. So the scary thing about this Vibe magazine, of course, this is when the homie Christopher Wallace, Big, you know, they were talking about that situation, his untimely passing, just like Tupac. But this was 1997. It is 2022. So that is roughly 25 years nearly, if not. And the question on the cover of this magazine is, when will it end? Wow. And isn't the ironic thing that we're still asking the same question 25 years later? Vibe, there you go. Original. Like I said, these are things I just bought. You know, I didn't go somewhere and start collecting these. I actually bought these. Moving right along. Another vacuum sealed. This was, you know what? I cannot see the date. 97. All right. This was the Source. So, man, all my hip hop heads, you remember the Source. Man, the Source is where it was at. If it was in the Source, it was official. The 5 mics, Source. You know, hip hop quotables, Source. So the Source was official. You know, so this was, once again, an important time during hip hop. Now what? The tragic marriage of hip hop and violence. So, you know what I'm saying? The violence we hearing today, it ain't new. It's just a different form. This was 1997. All right. And this is when they're saying the marriage began. So we 25 years later. So it's not new. So, yeah, those are the vacuum sealed ones. But we're going to continue to move on. Check it out. XXL. All right, got my homie Snoop. This was, let's see, I'm going to give y'all the dates on these. This was April 2008. Snoop Dogg on the front. Rest in peace, Pimp C. Man, y'all know who Pimp C is. If you don't know who Pimp C is, look him up. UGK official. Pimp C, man, has some of the most renowned quotes of any hip hop artist. You know, if someone loves hip hop and you ask them to quote a Pimp C line, I guarantee you they can quote a Pimp C line. So yeah, Pimp C's real official. You know, Future of the West. They were talking about Flow Rider. Shorty Low, rest in peace to Shorty Low, man. Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, and Lupe Fiasco, man. This was 2008. How many years ago was that? About 14, nearly 15. All right, so we moving on. This is 2007. XXL, man. XXL took over, man. When Source started to kind of fall off, XXL, you know, stepped in and filled that gap, man. This is where they talking about T.I. and hip-hop heads, man. Y'all remember Gangsta Grills, man. Gangsta Grills, I think, are still dropping. But during this time, early 2000, if you were on a DJ drama, Gangsta Grills, mixtape, then you were official. So this is T.I. And let me see. Let me go through for those of you that may not know. There's somebody real official on this cover that people forget about. But this right here is Big Country. All right. Big Country's with your boy T.I. This is, I'm going to come back to him. That's, of course, Tip. Everybody know T.I.'s DJ Drama. And this is the homie Young Dro, you know, which is also rolling with Grand Hustle. Him and Big Country. This guy right here, man, if you are from the South, you definitely know who this guy is. Up north, Detroit area for sure as well. But if you're from the South, you know who this guy is. This here is BG. Man, this is hip-hop legend right here. I'm telling you, if you listen to hip hop in the late 90s, early 2000s, then once again, you can quote a BG line. I guarantee you ask somebody from the South to quote a line from BG, whether it's from his individual projects or from the Hot Boys, they're going to give you a BG line, man. That was 2007. So this was 2009, June. This is Vibe. So you see, Vibe is a little different, you know. I messed with Vibe, you know, sometimes, not all the time. Every now and then I would go. Because, see, I used to go into and I know y'all used to do this too. I used to go into the bookstores and just read the magazines. Sometimes I wouldn't even buy them. You know, I just check them out. You know, you bored, you go to the bookstore, man. Wouldn't life so much more simple? Man. But, yeah, Eminem. We're talking about Eminem. The 50 hottest rapper blogs ranked. Let's see. Let's see what we got in here. Man. What happened to this guy, man? Astor Roth. Man, I haven't heard him in a minute. Forgot all about homie. I'm sure he's doing something, man. A lot of these cats, they do things on the low where you might not hear about them, but that don't mean they're not moving. But, man, I ain't heard that name in a minute. Man, remember when people used to rock their hat like this, though? What were we thinking, man? Me too. I think I rocked my hat like it one time. When I went to this spot, if you live in Louisville, called O'Malley's. I think I probably had my hat like that early 2000s. So, moving on, what we got here? XXL. This is, let's see, 2006. Y'all remember this cat right here? I know y'all know Curtis Jackson. Not only does he do Power, but, you know, 50 Cent, he was a rapper before all that, if you didn't know. But it's the homie right here, Lloyd Banks. Man, Lloyd Banks got some of the coldest bars you'll ever hear. Not just on the East Coast, but just overall. And I think he's still spitting fire. I think I heard something new from him not too long ago. But, yeah, Lloyd Banks, man. People forget about Banks, man, but you can't forget about Banks. They was talking about Rhyme Fest. All right, Rhyme Fest, that's Kanye's homie. You know, Rhyme Fest, he has bars. Did back then, still does now. Young Dro, we just talked about Dro. And the top 20 street albums. Let's check this out. So this is 2006. Let's check out what the top 20 street albums were in 2006. So let's see. You know, I'm just thumbing through. A smart person would go to well, I'm not going to say that because I consider myself smart. A wise person in this situation would go to the table of contents, but I'm not. So Let's just thumb through. Oh, let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to go to the table of contents. It's taking too long. So let's see where the top 20 street albums of 2006, where they are. All right, let's see. I'm still just thumbing. All right. Okay, here we go. We're at the end. I'm getting kind of nervous here. Here we go. Outcast. One of my favorite Outcast albums, actually. Idlewild. Idlewild was given a large. DMX, Year of the Dog. Never even heard that album. This is where I lay a voiceover because my family was knocking at the door, interrupting my video. As you see, I look backwards, but I think I was talking about DMX right here. The Roots, Game Theory, received the XL. J Dilla received the XL. So, not to go through this, but this was XXL 2006. Back to the Source. I don't know if I'm going to go through all of these, man, but because it'll be a long video. But this is February 2007. This is a collector's issue, man. It's the Source Biggie. Back to the vibe. I have Outcast. Outcast, as always. One of my favorite groups. If you go to my library, you'll see several Outcast records, and then you're gonna see an Andre 3000 figurine because Outcast, man, one of the groups that helped mold me. I think, not that I think that I know as a youth, man. Shout out to Outcast, man. So yeah, they were talking about Outcast. Are they hip hop's greatest group? And they were asking this question in 2006. And I am confidently saying now in 2022, yes, they were in 2006 and they are in 2022. All right, moving on. So Scratch. I tell you about Scratch. Like I said, I'm a hip hop head. So reading Scratch was just something I did. Like if I was in a bookstore and I didn't like what was going on with XXL, I had already seen it or whatnot, I'd pick up Scratch. And if you see, it was a part of XXL or whatnot. So Scratch in 2007 was talking about Will I Am. Hey, Black Eyed Peas are the truth, man. Will I Am, true artist, man. He does a lot. From plays instruments to rap to sing, produce. You got to respect Black Eyed Peas, man. If you don't know who this guy is, man, just turn off right now. Just turn off everything, man. Turn off everything you got right now that's electrical because you just need to sit in the dark somewhere. This is Nasir Jones, man. And this was March 2008. Hip hop's 100 biggest moments. Now, Nasir Jones is here on the front. Now, let's see. Let's see some of hip hop's biggest moments. Let's see. 24. They talk about Kanye, his situation where he crashed, and I'm just randomly picking. 51. 50 in The Game, Make Nice. Oh, 52. I know y'all remember this. The Cannabis versus LL Cool J. Remember he had Mike Tyson? And Mike Tyson did that intro. And he was like, yeah, all I want you to do is eat MCs. And yeah, you got to bob and move your head. It was just, the intro was, I understood what Mike was saying, but it could be taken the wrong way. But, the bars were hard on that song. Let's see. Number 33. Outcast wins Album of the Year. Just in case y'all forgot, man. Will Smith ain't the only hip-hop artist, or Drake's not the only hip-hop guy that's won Grammys. Man, look at all that, man. Can you see that? Shout out to Outcast, man. Snoop, we got Snoop on the Source. Boom. That was... Why do I keep having such a hard time finding the date on these things, man? May 2008. The Source Summer Music Edition. This was, once again, struggle mode. June 2007. So 30 burners. Let's see what was popping in 2007. We had Khaled, We the Best. We had Twister, Adrenaline Rush, Big Boy, Young Dro. Let's see, who do we have that's not really around no more? I'm gonna let y'all see just a few. That's Juvie, Murphy Lee, Status Quo. You know what I'm saying? Mac, that's Beanie Siegel right there. Number one boss, Rick Ross. You know he's still around. Slim Thugger still doing his thing. Who's that right there? Young Bleed. Okay. Who else we got? Oh, I see Young Bleed's at the bottom. I see Young Bleed. Yep, y'all know Young Bleed from No Limit. I was looking at my man at the top. That's Lupe. I couldn't tell who that was, man. Lupe's still out here doing his thing. So, yep. Source. You know, some of the hottest music. Summer 2006. This right here, April 2007. 3-6 Mafia. Back to the homie Nasir. We just going through the library. Y'all remember Suge Knight, don't y'all? And y'all remember P.D. Pablo. Do y'all remember that? But let's see. What was going on with him and P.D. Pablo? Why are they on the cover together? I think P.D. Pablo might have been down with Death Row. Or getting down with Death Row. Who knows, man? P.D. Pablo, man. He sung that song, Take Your Shirt Off and Twist It Like the helicopter joint. Hey, this goes for North Carolina. Yep, that song jam. See what else we got. Okay, we got XXL. We got Jigga. This was the Reasonable Doubt days, I believe. Yep, it was. Reasonable Doubt days, man. This was August 2006. 2007 Whips review. Let's see what was going on in 2007 with the Whips. Man, hold on. So this is what I'm talking about, man. 2007. Look what they was advertising, bruh. Come on, man. 2007. That's what we was on. Were we? I'm ashamed. No, I'm not ashamed. I'm just joking. It was just part of the time. Let's see what else we was on that might be looked at differently. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Y'all was rocking these back in 2007. I see y'all. Yeah. 2007. Let me see if you could purchase things. Yep, indeed. Remember these in the back of the magazines? Come on now. 2007, man. 2007. Moving right along. We got The Vibe, 50 Cent, and Eminem. But then, see, I flip it on you. I got the Ebony, the Obama cover. And I actually have a Ziploc Obama. It might have been a Time magazine when he first was elected. But yeah, this is the Power 150. Obama on the front. Then we go into XXL with 50 Cent. Then we go into XXL with Jigga. And then we go into Rides. Y'all remember Rides, don't you? With Paul Wall. Well, it wasn't his magazine. He just happened to be on this cover. But it just showed all the whips. And, you know, he's showing that Houston swag, man, with the trunks up, with the lights and all that, you know, dropping that fifth wheel on y'all, man. And then we got Eminem. But see, what makes this magazine dope, it has a double cover. You feel me? Has him as the Punisher. Then has him as the Punisher as well, without all the trench coat and all that. So, with all that being said, man, that right there is not even an entrance. A part of, you've already come to my library. This is part 2. But that's just a segment of Welcome to My Library. And, you know, just the time in my life, man. I'm still a hip-hop head, will always be. But that was a time in hip-hop when things were in print, man. And it was lovely. So, Welcome to My Library, part 2.